Hello, everyone. My name is Casey. I'm not the usual face here on Whatnot Sellers. I have our goat Kenny in the chat today, helping us mod. But I am also a community manager here at Whatnot. If you've ever gone to a meetup, you've probably received an email from Casey at Whatnot. That is me. I'm a real person. But really excited to have you all here today to talk to one of our top beauty sellers, Joy. Before we get to Joy and her conversation, just want to share a bit about our community team here at Whatnot. So the community team is really here for the community at large, making sure that every seller on Whatnot feels supported and has their needs met in some way. We're constantly coming up with new programs and figuring out ways to educate you all so you have the tools that you need to succeed. One of the ways that we do this is through live events. They're really great for building community and helping sellers learn together. So there's two things that I want to shout out today. One, Whatnot Meetups. If you haven't heard of it already, we announced our Whatnot Meetups hub. These are seller-led events where sellers can come together and meet one another. And they're supposed to be more like local too, so there could be small or big events happening in your local community. You can also go to this hub and apply to host a meetup. So if you haven't checked it out yet, Kenny, thank you. Meetups.whatnot.com, check it out. And really excited that our guest today is also hosting one of our next meetups. For any folks in the chat that are coming to ASD or maybe are interested in wholesale, we're going to be hosting a seller meetup there on the 18th. So if you are based near Las Vegas or you have an interest in wholesale, you should definitely meet us there. You'll get even more insight from our guest today, Joy, and you'll be able to meet a lot of other like-minded sellers. So we hope to see you there. Another exclusive announcement that I have today, some of you have already seen this announcement through your emails, but really happy to share that we announced our first ever Whatnot owned event, and it's called Whatnot Seller Summit. And this will be happening in Austin in August, not August. This will be happening on April 25th in Austin, Texas. Again, the Whatnot Seller Summit. This is a full day in-person event. If you are serious about growing your business, this is for you. We're going to be going deep on how to run higher converting shows, source smarter, retain buyers, and actually scale, not just go live more. We're hoping to really give you some good takeaways to, use back into your business post-event. This is open for all active sellers in good standing on the platform, but I will say that the programming is better suited for sellers that are super keen on growth. You'll hear from Whatnot leaders and top sellers, choose from 2 focus tracks, and get hands-on tactical sessions you can apply immediately. You can spec big names like the Don's Luxury, Swish Breaks, and more. Tickets are $75 and spots are limited. So if you want to level up in 2026, come build with us in Austin, Texas. And Kenny, oh, perfect. You also read my mind. Join us, sellersummit.whatnot.com. All right, now that we've gotten through our announcements, really excited to turn things over to our guest today, Joy. So Joy is the founder of Beauty Finds. She built her business by showing up daily and turning live selling into a luxury experience. What began with consistency evolved into the most followed beauty channel, known for high-end inventory, high-energy shows, and a deeply loyal community. Beauty Finds isn't driven by trends or hype. It's built on work ethic, connection, and deep understanding of how beauty should be sold live. So Joy, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So excited to chat with you. Would love to start kind of towards the beginning of your story. Would like to start at your early Whatnot days. I'm curious what first drew you to selling on Whatnot.
So I've been in the makeup business for a little bit over 10 years. I used to have like a physical retail store down here in Miami where we used to sell everything that was in Sephora. We were geared towards professional makeup artists. And this is right when COVID started. Then COVID came around and, business kind of disappeared. We had to close the store and I was left with all this inventory. So I started selling on, just regular online e-commerce platforms, which was, a little bit slower. And then I remember I was on Instagram one day and I saw someone who was doing Whatnot. And I remember I took like 5 or 6 eyeshadow palettes from my dining room table, opened up my computer and like did a show. It was horrible.
Amazing.
I didn't make one sale. I closed my computer. I'm like, I'm never doing this again. And then I decided to start again about 6 months later. And that's how it all got started.
So I think that story is very similar to a lot of seller stories, that you kind of just go live with what you have. You maybe don't have a very clean strategy in place and
Right.
maybe get discouraged by those early numbers. So what encouraged you to start up again 6 months later?
I was actually doing this with my sister. It was something that we started together. My mom actually bought to sell on a different platform. She bought this like Macy's palette, and she didn't end up doing anything with it. Like she wasn't committed to it. So we were trying to get it sold for her. So we're like, okay, maybe we can like use this product. And it was a good beauty palette to sell on Whatnot, and that's how we started.
I love that. Yeah, again, it's a super relatable story, but I'm really glad to hear that you came back, even though the first one was discouraging for you. And it's a good lesson for sellers too, that you just got to keep showing up and eventually you're going to learn. But I love that energy of just going live with what you have. It's a really good model for other sellers too. Um,
Absolutely.
After those 6 months happened and you started up again, did you see success right away, or did it take a while to find your rhythm?
No, it definitely took a while. Like I remember my first 2 months, I had 11 people in my show. Every time I was starting at $1. I remember it wasn't going well. I was trying to do set price at like $7 because I was like calculating my cost plus the fees. I was trying so many different things and so much like inventory until slowly I found my rhythm and I found out what works for me. But it definitely took me a little bit of like trial and error of like figuring out what is like the best way for me to grow to scale.
And as you were going through that process, what do you think some of the biggest challenges were specifically, whether with like logistics, confidence, platform details?
I mean, I remember my first show. I didn't know that you print out the labels with like, everybody's like numbers. I printed out this Excel sheet. I was doing everything wrong. It was so hard. I didn't know how I was going to like eventually figure this out. And it was just every little thing for me was like a struggle until I just found my way. I found what worked for me. With even with the promotions, like how should I promote? When should I promote? With the giveaways, what should I give away? It was just like so many different things.
Yeah, I love that. And it's what a lot of sellers go through too. After that 6 month period happened, was there another moment that you thought about stopping again?
No, I was full on into it. I loved it.
You found your groove.
Yeah.
I love that. And what advice would you give to a seller who is currently in that same phase of really trying to work out the kinks and finding their own strategy?
So I definitely think that, some people think that you're just going to buy the inventory and you're going to sell and it's going to happen. You know, I'm sure maybe this happens for people, but it takes time to build. And even if at the beginning it doesn't work, you shouldn't give up. You should keep on trying, keep showing up, keep being consistent, really trying to connect with your audience, because at the end of the day, they could be at any other channel and they come to because of you. They like you, they enjoy you, they enjoy your product. So it's definitely, you need to be consistent. You need to show up. I also think that it's a lot of trial and error that you need to figure out what works for you. Like everybody thinks they should start at $1. I don't think that that's the case all the time. I think that you can start at $3 or $7 or, just kind of find your groove, whether it's what time you're going to do the shows, if it's morning or afternoons or sudden death or auction. Like you need to play around with everything until you see what works for you, because something could work for me and somebody who sells the same thing something else could work for them.
Yeah, for sure. You had so many nuggets of wisdom in what you just said. So the first thing that you talked about was being consistent, and I think that probably comes up in every single Whatnot Sellers show. It's so important for Whatnot Sellers. So I'm really glad that you brought that up, and I totally agree. It's probably the number one thing that any new seller should take away in their early days. That's very key on your success. I loved what you said about people coming back for you. They are here for you. They're drawn to your personality. your
Yeah.
style of shows really speaks to the authenticity piece on Whatnot and really selling yourself as much as the product. Yeah, so many good things in there. That's great. Um, all right, let's talk a bit about your strategy and operations. So we went through that learning phase. Tell me about your live selling strategy today, and what's your approach when it comes to shows, prep, and community building?
For sure. So I run a very like strategic show, like with the girls and the guys that work for me. Let's say if I have my goal to make a certain amount of dollars, like within the 6 hours, I've come to a conclusion that I have to sell X amount of products to make that goal at the end of the show. So, I'm very like, I wouldn't say strict, but like I'm very like, within 1 hour, you need to sell X amount of items, within 2 hours. So I do run a very strategic show. Like it's not, I don't just like come here and, everybody can just kind of like run. So I think that's also very important if you want to scale. I also a lot watch shows back, like I will rewatch like shows that let's say I'm not selling just to kind of like see what's going on, how I could improve. Let's say if I see one of my streamers are struggling, we kind of go over like what can we do, what can we change. Something that's very important with Whatnot, it's like you always have to reinvent yourself. It's not enough to just come and show what you have. Whether it's like doing different things on the show, whether it's bundles or buckets, or now a lot of people are doing walk around the rooms. Like you really have to kind of like adapt to like what people want to see. So that's very important. You can't
Yeah.
just be like cookie cutter.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's awesome advice. For anyone that's just joining us, welcome. I'm Casey here from the community team. We're talking with Joy today, founder of Beauty Finds, one of the biggest and most followed beauty channels on Whatnot, talking about seller best practices. So really excited to have y'all here today. And if you have any questions for Joy, please put them in the chat. We have a great mod, Kenny, who's going to be capturing all of your questions, and we'll get to as many as possible at the end. Okay, so back to strategy. Can you talk about how much you stream each week and how that evolved over time?
Yeah. So I usually do 3 streams a day. At sometimes I have a fourth, and sometimes not. Just depends like who's on my staff at the moment, just because it's a little bit of a harder shift. But we do 6 hour shows 3 times a day, Monday through Thursday. Friday we have like 2 streams, and then Saturday night we have one. And then Sunday we're back to a full schedule.
Nice. How did you? Was that always the schedule? Like, how did that look at the beginning?
Like my No, it was. We usually used to have 2 streams, but my goal was always to be like a 24/7 kind of channel because I wanted to really like capture, California and like that clientele as well. So it was really important for me to be on 24/7. And I always wanted, like, if somebody woke up in the middle of the night, they know that Beauty Finds is live.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, a lot of sellers always ask what's the best time to go live. But the reality of Whatnot now is that we're a global platform. So there's people buying and selling at all hours of the day. So
Yeah.
truly pick the best time for you, and you're going to find people there that are ready to buy your product. So that's great.
There's always somebody on Whatnot.
Totally. So I've seen your shows. Your inventory is crazy. And super vast. Can you talk a bit about how you actually go about organizing and preparing your inventory before a show?
Yes. So as we've grown and we've been like selling more items a show, I've gotten to a point that like every show needs to have like an assistant with her because I do like to be very like to tailor to the community. Like some shows don't take requests. I'm a very like heavy request kind of show. Like I really like to, make it personable. So, I have the assistant. She'll come a little bit before the show. She'll organize. She walks around with her phone, sees the requests, and kind of like gets everything for the streamer. So that's very important. Like we need to have that assistant here so we can really do like a personal show.
Yeah, that's super helpful. For sellers that maybe are just starting out as a solo business owner that need to kind of wear all hats, do you have any advice for them on how to just get better organized for their shows?
Yeah, I mean, we still have like I would have like I still have it here. I have a table, everything is set up, nicely organized. I have bins that I put everything in. Everything is like visible to me. I can see what I have. So I still have that as well because sometimes they're busy, sometimes they go to lunch. So that's very important. Like I think it's key to make sure you're always in the camera, never leave the camera because it's very
Mm,
easy for somebody to like just swipe to another channel so it's
yeah.
very important. Just make sure that you have everything next to you. You want to keep always your communication with the chat. You never want to leave. I mean, obviously if you have to go to like the bathroom,
Sure.
but it's super important because like I said, like they could just swipe and that's it, you lost a viewer.
Yeah, and I love that point around just like capturing people's attention and being really engaged because it's so important on Whatnot. So yeah, I mean, an organization system can look so different to everyone, but having your inventory right there for you not only helps you be more purposeful with your business, but helps you run a really efficient show too.
Right.
So that's great. So let's talk about community. Your shows are packed with people. What do you think keeps your buyers and other sellers coming back?
I think it's first of all, the girls and the streamers, I think they're amazing, who we have here. What I like about them is I feel like everybody is very different from my streamers. So, if maybe you don't like vibe with one of them, you have somebody else. It was really important for me to have like all different types of personalities. So, you can kind of pick the streamer that you prefer because, not everybody connects with everyone and that's okay. So that, I mean, I think we are also, like I said, we run the very like personal show. So we do take a lot of requests. Unlike, a lot of people don't like some people, it's harder for some people to do that. So I find that really important.
Yeah, totally. And Whatnot gives sellers a lot of different tools. There's a lot of things that you can use at your disposal. Which features does Beauty Finds rely on the most?
I mean, I would say I'm a heavy, I use the promotion tool every show.
That's
I
great.
feel like for me, that is like key for growing my followers because I could see also at the end of the show how many new buyers I have. And I think it's like 90% because of the promotion tool. And, just to get like different people into my chat. That's the most thing for me that's important. I always like to, get new eyes at Beauty Find.
Yeah, totally. And even
So
though
I
it is an
promote them all.
investment, I love when sellers think about it as just like a part of your marketing budget. And it's a really good way of capturing new eyes. Something I want to add to that is that it's great to get the people in the room, but you also have to give them a reason to stay. Beauty
Yeah.
Finds is really good with this because they're so fast paced and they keep people engaged the whole time. So figuring out how you can make the most of that new time with people, I think, is really key as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And are there any features that you've built into your routine or to your business separate from Whatnot?
Um, no, not that I can think of. I mean, we have a lot of systems of that we have here in place of, how we're able to like ship all the inventory so quickly, things that we've done in our shipping department, systems that I've done with customer service to prevent, any further issues. Just those kind of systems that we've built, in the back end.
Totally. That makes sense. Cool. Let's pivot to brand and growth. So, to talk about marketing a bit, how do you market yourself both on Whatnot and off the platform?
Yeah, so I've just started dabbling a little bit on like Instagram and TikTok, kind of showing a little bit what we do around here. I kind of show, just like what happens after the show, because it's all nice when we go live, but then that's when the crazy happens after the show. So I've been trying to show that a little bit more. I do text message marketing. So we like to take, the viewers' phone numbers. If they, agree, they send Beauty Find to this number. And when we have any big shows and we run any big promotions, we kind of send out a text message to remind people, hey, come watch the show. So that's been also something that's, really nice just to set up a reminder. We do like to do like fun events, like, whether it's our milestone shows or sometimes we get like a full line in. So like I said, we always try to like reinvent ourselves. We try to be interesting, kind of change it up a little bit. We do shows with the lights off. So just try
Yeah.
to keep it fun.
Yeah, lots of different things. For any new sellers that are in the chat, if there's like one thing marketing wise that you think they should focus on this week, what would you say?
I definitely think that I see a lot of new sellers that they like. I'm going to talk about the promotion tool because a lot of people don't realize like all they think about is, wow, this is money that's coming out of my profit. But I really feel like if you want to scale like your viewers, you need to promote your show. You have to take that into consideration when you're starting your Whatnot. Because if not, you're going to be stuck at like that 10, 11, or wherever you are. Like you have to promote. It's so important to promote your show.
Totally, I agree. And there's ways, if budget is tight, there are ways to promote your show that don't require any budget on Whatnot. Simply just investing time in the community and showing up at other sellers' shows. I bet if you're an aspiring beauty seller and you show up consistently in beauty finds, this is a great way to get trust within the community and, to get trust and respect from other sellers as well. So just showing up and showing support for other sellers is great too. On the flip side of that, is there anything that really hasn't been effective marketing wise for you?
I would say everything that I'm doing, I would say like on Instagram and stuff is not to me
Sure.
because I'm just not good at it. Um, yeah, but that really is the main thing.
Something to build up to.
Yes, yes.
Perfect.
One day.
Yeah. What do you think specifically? I mean, I know you touched on your streamers and the style of your shows. Is there anything else that you think really makes you stand out amongst the sellers in your category?
I think the variety of makeup that we have, it's really, really important to me to bring good quality, variety. I mean, variety is key. Everything is fresh. It's really important for me to sell full size products. Like I may have like me here and there travel, but it's really important for me to have like a full size show. Everything pretty much that you see is full size. Just to have a lot of SKUs. Like I don't like when people ask requests and I have to be like, oh, I don't have this, I don't have this, I don't have this. So like that's always my key. Like if I'm like out of lip liners or if I'm out of this, to make sure that I just have like a wholesome inventory. I also what's very good about Whatnot is that you have like the feedback direct with your consumer. It's not like being online and waiting for the reviews. So you can see exactly what people are requesting. You can see what is selling, what is not selling, and it's really important for you to to look at that, and that's really going to help you scale because you see what the demand is instantly.
Yeah, so taking stock of your inventory and the data post shows, that can absolutely
Exactly.
help you for
So
sure.
yeah, it's important. If I see somebody's requesting an item and I'm like, okay, this is like viral right now, like I'm gonna work really hard to try to bring it.
Yeah, that's great. How do you think, given that you're already such a big seller on Whatnot, but there's still lots of room to grow and new opportunities ahead, how are you thinking about growth right now? And what would you say some of your top goals are for the business?
For sure. So I would say for Beauty Find, my goal is I would like to double my following this year. We are moving to a bigger space, so I do have some like special events that I have in my head brewing that I would like to do, whether it's like collabs with other channels and other categories that we are actually working on. But I do have 3 other channels on Whatnot. So my goal is really to kind of bring them at the level that Beauty Finds is, whether it's in terms of sales, whether it's in terms of having steady shows, whether it's 2 times a day or 3 times a day. So that's like really key for me for this year to kind of put everybody at the same level.
Nice, that's great. Yeah, can you touch on your other channels a bit and talk to me about how you thought about scaling in other ways?
Yeah, sure. So we do have a perfume makeup channel. So we're more perfume heavy on that channel. We do sell makeup there as well. Then we have our wholesale channel. So we do have a wholesale company called Miami Beauty Wholesale, which we supply a lot of other channels on the app and for other different platforms. So over there, we do a lot of reseller bundles. So somebody who's not looking to purchase single items, they can go to that show and, they can get 4 or 5. It's more for like, if you don't have like $5,000 or $10,000 to like go buy wholesale right away, this is a great starting point for you to like go to these kind of shows and kind of get a nice variety of everything. And then we just actually opened a channel with Emily, who's one of our streamers here who we love. And she is actually, we're kind of finding our way on that channel. So I think now we're going to go the jewelry route. So this is kind of like her baby that we're just supporting her with. So that's our fourth channel.
Yeah, that's super exciting. It's been amazing to see how much success you've had on the platform and how much room there is to still grow. I think sometimes sellers can get into a trap of scaling too soon.
Right.
So I know that you run a tight ship on the back end too, and you have really clear goals for the business. What are some things that you think sellers should look out for before thinking about scaling?
I definitely feel the shipping is very important. Like you have to make sure that you have the shipping ready to go, that you're able to scale, that you're able to ship that amount of quantity in time, because you don't want to, you don't want to get behind on your terms, and like you don't want to have those problems. So I feel like that's the key to get to a point that you can add all those shows. And then second, just so you have like, it's very important, you need to have that cash flow to keep on buying more inventory to grow.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, making sure that your back end is really prepared for any kind of scale that you bring into the business, I think is great, because you might have all the energy in the world and time to stream and sell product, but if you're not prepared on the back end, things are going to
the hard work is the back end.
Totally.
That is like where you really need to have a tight ship on the back end.
For sure. Looking 1 year ahead, where do you hope your Whatnot business will be?
Ooh, wow. Well, I would like to be at my followers at 800, 1 million-ish.
Yeah.
That would be my goal. That is like, it's a high goal. Obviously, I would like my sales to grow more per month. But my main goal is really, like I said, for my other channels, that I want to bring them to like a steady point that, we're running consistent over there, whether it's 3 to 4 shifts a day, and everything is like running smoothly on all those four channels.
So it sounds like consistency across the business is probably like the biggest theme for what you're hoping for in the future. Is that right?
Yeah. Yes.
That's great. Love that. And are there any new ways that you're thinking about scaling, given that you have these new arms of the business? Do you feel like there are any new roles that you really need to hire for?
Absolutely. Right now, I have my sister-in-law, but we pretty much manage all the chat. Like we manage everything. I manage the customer service, the shipping. So I'm at a point right now that I'm trying to like find whether it's one person or two person to kind of manage either one or two of the channels, because it's a lot,
Yeah,
it's a lot.
Totally.
Whether it's the employees and the inventory, the customer service, the shipping. So I need to start delegating a little bit if I want to scale to that point.
Yeah, this is actually a good segue, because I want to talk about our meetup together at ASD. If you attend our meetup at ASD, you'll hear a lot of exclusive insights on hiring.
Yes.
Got really great tips from Joy as well. But so we are hosting this meetup together at ASD, which is super exciting. Again, the first meetup at ASD, official meetup through the Meetups Hub, and a meetup with a beauty seller, which is really exciting. You, of course, have the wholesale arm of your business. Can you just chat about what ASD is, who it's for, and why sellers should attend?
Definitely. So ASD is a liquidation show. They have a bunch of different categories for beauty, clothing, jewelry. So this is if you are looking for suppliers and you want to kind of scale your business, this is the show to be at. Like you want to be at Vegas, at the ASD show. Also, you're going to see a lot of other streamers over there. Whatnot's going to be there. So definitely, if you're looking to scale, this is the place you want to be at in March.
Yeah, love it. There's really something for everyone at ASD, so would love to see you there. If you want more information, go to meetups.whatnot.com, and you'll be able to scroll down, and the seller meetup at ASD is the first event listed. So hope to see you there. And another thing that is really exciting to talk about that you shared with me a few weeks ago is that you have something huge coming up, like a TV show appearance.
Right.
That's huge. I'm so excited for you. What can you tell us about it so far?
Yeah. So it was so funny that I applied a couple months ago to be on this like TV series called Next Level CEO with Damon John, where they were kind of looking for leaders in the community, and I applied, and I never really heard back. And then slowly, I went through some interviews, and I couldn't believe it that I got chosen out of 15 people to be on to have one of my episodes. So it's amazing, and lucky for me, it's in Florida, so I don't have to fly out for production, which is the best part. So yeah, it's super exciting. Just to tell my story of how I've gotten here. Just inspire like anybody. Just see what you have at home and start selling.
That's awesome. Super happy for you. Congratulations. That's
Thank you.
huge. If folks want to follow along with any television updates, where should they follow you?
On our social media.
And
so everything
Beauty
is going to
Finds?
be, yes, Beauty Finds.
Perfect. Yeah, definitely make sure to follow along there. And I can't wait to see you. We're already seeing so much success for you on Whatnot. Let's see where you take it elsewhere. That's so cool.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for answering all my questions. We're winding down at my questions for you, and then we'll get to our audience's questions. So last two things for you. What's one piece of advice you'd give to sellers watching today, whether they're brand new or seasoned veterans?
If you're brand new, my advice would definitely be not to give up. Really, that's like the key. You have to be consistent. You have to schedule your shows. People need to know when to expect you. You have to show up. You can't just do like a show and then like randomly do another show. That's very important. Just be yourself. People are going to enjoy coming to you, like seeing you, hanging out with you. So that's key. And I would think if somebody's a veteran, I think it's very important, like to have a structured show. Like it's very important to kind of go back and see, how are you, what do you need to do to kind of reach your sale number or your goal at the end of the show? So that's very important. Like I think at least for me, you have to be very structured. You kind of really need to know like what you need to do to be there.
Yeah, that's great advice. A quick follow-up to that, is there anything that you wish you knew earlier as a seller?
Oh my gosh. I'm still learning as I go every day. So, I do really know anything. So it's kind of like trial and error. We're, our beauty community of sellers are very close. So that's very nice that, we kind of contact each other, with questions and with help. So that's been a really good thing. So, I'm always growing also and learning every time new features come out, or, I run into something that I'm not so familiar with. So it's always a learning curve.
Yeah. Always stay curious. That's
Yes.
great. I love that.
Oh, yes. I need to learn.
We all do. Again, the platform is changing all the time. New trends are coming up.
Yes.
So I really love hearing that a seller of your size is always a student as well.
Always,
awesome.
always.
Well, Joy, thank you for answering my questions. I'm going to move on to questions from our chat now. Chat, or I know you asked us to call you friends in the last show. So friends, if you have any questions for Joy, it doesn't necessarily have to be just about beauty. It can be anything Whatnot business related. Please put them in the chat, and our mod, Kenny, will grab them and we'll get to as many as possible. I'll start with the first one. For Sale by Natalie asks, would love to know where to get wholesale or suppliers for beauty products. I buy here on Whatnot. Any tips?
Yeah, we have our wholesale channel, Miami Beauty Wholesale, where I would feel like it's going to be a little bit more lucrative than just like kind of buying one at a time, because over there you can get bundles. So, if you want that variety, you can get 4 or 5 or 6, depending on what the item is. You could kind of get that nice variety of like skincare, hair, makeup for your show.
Yeah, that's great. Beauty Finds can be your one-stop shop of buying
Yes.
your products for your Whatnot channel and buying them for yourself too. That's
we have
perfect.
a show today, guys, so.
Yeah. Or you can also join us at ASD. You'll
Exactly.
find a lot about suppliers there. All right. So sorry if I'm not saying this correctly. Gina's Beauty Co. asks, how do you think dollar starts affect smaller sellers?
For sure. I get this message so many times in my message area. I'll tell you for myself, when I originally started, I used to do dollar starts, and I lost a lot of money. I lost a lot of product, good product, because you don't have that viewership and people are not bidding. A lot of people know that you can go to like a new seller to kind of get things at a more affordable price. So I started doing things at $7 at the beginning, and it was my cost. It was with the fees, and I was more comfortable doing that. But I do have to say that once I started using my promotions and I was getting more people in, I only really scaled when I eventually turned back to $1. So it's not necessarily that you need to start at that, and I don't think that you need to start at it. But I think that eventually, if you do want to scale, the $1, it's like a psychological thing,
Totally. Yeah.
But I'd say at the beginning, you don't need to do that. I think it's more important for you to spend money on promoting your show, and then start at a higher price, and that way. Because I feel like at the end of the day, if you have good products, somebody's going to buy it.
Totally. And there's so many other things too that add into the buyer experience, like quality listings, the way you show up on camera, how you run your show. I buy in beauty frequently, and dollar starts are awesome, and I love taking part in those. But there's a lot of new sellers that I love to support that are just really good at running their shows or have unique inventory. So finding that competitive edge for you, I think, is great, and doubling down on it. There's no need that you have to compete with the top sellers right away.
Exactly. It's very important to, like, at the beginning, you need to do like trial and error with everything, whether it's $1 starts or $5 starts or whatever dollar starts, whether if you're doing a morning show or afternoon show, if you're doing auction, you need to try it all. You need to see what works for you.
Totally. All right, next question is from Visuals. We kind of touched on this, but we can share it again if anyone new has joined. Have you ever ventured outside of the beauty category?
Yes, I ventured. When I actually started, I had the beauty finds and I did some clothing. It was really hard for me, at least. I didn't connect with it that much. It wasn't really my kind of vibe. So I left that. Then we have the perfumes, which is kind of like in the beauty category. So, it works better. And now actually we're doing with Emily the jewelry, which I feel like it's more like the same client, the same clientele. But clothing for me was it was hard. It was hard for me.
It's a competitive category.
Yeah,
sure.
It was a lot.
Yeah. The Fitness X Fashion asks, when did you decide it was time to hire people to work for you?
Okay. Wow, this is such a hard question. Again, I also think that if you want to scale, you have to hire someone, because you can't do the shows all the time. You want to be live more, and there's so much that you can do, and you have to really hire people. And this is something that I was talking to Casey about. Like, every time people do interviews, or whether I hear like my colleagues talk about like them interviewing people, I was telling her, everybody tries to compare whoever they're hiring to themselves. And nobody's ever going to be as good as the owner. Nobody's going to know their pricing, and nobody's going to know your inventory, and that's okay. And you can't expect them to be as good as you. And that's very important when you hire somebody. You have to set those expectations in your head, because so many people like pass on good streamers because, they compare them to themselves, and you're never going to find anybody who's going to be as good as you are. But I definitely think that if you want to scale, you have to hire.
Yeah, it's always a tough decision for sellers, but it's a key part of the growth experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that. All right. Jay Rips and Ships asks, do you find it better to stream and show your face? Does it gain more views?
Yeah. So when I started, I was streaming also because I didn't really have a set place. I was also doing some streams at home, with my hands. But I don't know, I feel like in Whatnot, it's community driven. I mean, I think it's really important to show your face, to connect with the audience. People want to see you. Not that showing your hands doesn't work, but I feel like in the beauty category, it is important. People want to see you. Sometimes we try things on. I think it's much easier to connect to a person than hands. And that's really important at the end of the day because, you know, they want to come to you. So many people could be selling Lululemon or Skims or makeup. Like, why are they staying in your show? You know, a lot of the times it's the streamer.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I don't think that should necessarily deter anyone from streaming if you're really scared about showing your face. Maybe it's something that you can build up to in the future.
Exactly.
But I also notice that this sometimes is a bit different for categories like beauty. I'm almost always seeing someone behind the camera unless we're looking at bins. But other categories like jewelry, like sometimes we want to just really see the quality of the jewelry.
The hand.
Yeah, for sure. All right, another question from Visuals. What do you plan on doing to increase sales or to upgrade your business in 2026? We chatted a bit about consistency, but I guess we can get into specifics if you're comfortable.
I have to say that I'm not a very like flash sale heavy channel, so that's something that I definitely want to focus on more. I didn't have the space to separate my inventory for that, but now I am moving, so that's something that I definitely want to focus on more, kind of being more like doing more flash sales. But just, you know, I always try to do like different things in my show, whether now we like to say we've moved to 5 seconds from 10 seconds and we do some more like buckets, or, you know, I kind of, when I originally started my channel, we were doing like 800 items a show. Now we could be at like 1,200, 1,300 items a show. So I just always try to find ways to like be a little bit more efficient, and try to get as many sales in there.
Yeah, that's great. Chat, love all of these questions that are coming in. If for some reason we don't get to your question today, highly recommend, and Kenny, if you can pin it in the chat, help.whatnot.com can almost answer every question that you have around logistics of the platform. And also selleracademy.whatnot.com, also a great place for new sellers if you want to start leveling up and really start taking your business seriously. All right, next question. Sneakat 01527 asks, for someone who has a following on social already, what would you recommend when starting from scratch on Whatnot?
Oh, wow. That's amazing. I mean, that's a great start. I would definitely be like sneak peeking my inventory. You know, I would be like having somebody maybe film with the live, also educating people what is not Whatnot, because, you know, it's a newer platform. People still don't know what a good platform is. I mean, you could get so many great deals. So definitely educating my followers about the app, you know, posting my lives, posting my inventory, you know, whether telling somebody, oh, like, you know, you can buy this at Sephora for 28 and somebody just bought it for like 12.
Yeah.
So just like fun things to like get people on the show or to get somebody to like click the button.
Yeah, and also just sharing your referral link, custom wood burning shout out. Sharing a referral link is a great way to get people over, benefits both parties. So yeah, taking advantage of it as much as you can. That's a great privilege to have, for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, last question for you from Threads Collective. Any thoughts on doing a shared show with 2 co-hosts?
Yeah, I'm down for anything, guys. I'm down. Anytime somebody writes me, I'm all about it.
That's great.
I just love to do something different, you know, get in front of new audiences. It's fun. I mean, I love my job. I love being here. I love coming to work every day. Yes, I'm always down to change things up.
That's great. I love it. Well, Joy, thank you for answering all of our questions today. This was great.
Thank you for having me.
Again, just plugging, if you want to join myself and Joy and other Whatnot sellers at ASD, we would love to have you there, taking place in Las Vegas from March 16th to March 19th, or March 17th to March 19th, I think.
Yeah.
Someone
like
fact check me. But mid-March, we will be there at ASD. Would love to have you. And if you're interested in wholesale in general, there's something there for everyone. So would love to have you there. And also, if you are interested in more IRL events, please join us in considering buying a ticket for the Seller Summit. You can check out sellersummit.whatnot.com for more information. We would love to see you there. All right, Joy, any last words for our audience today?
Yeah, first of all, thank you guys for being here. I mean, also, if you're a reseller, you know, very important, don't get discouraged. Just be consistent, enjoy what you're doing, you know, and just kill it.
That's great. Love it. All right. Well, thank you again. This was wonderful. In the spirit of beauty, we're going to raid into another seller. We have Punch's Closet.
Yes, you can rate them.
Love it. All right, folks. As we do, let's just show love in the chat for this other seller. You don't need to buy anything. Just showing love and support and excitement is all
Thanks,
we really
guys.
need to do. Joy, thank you again. This
Thanks,
was wonderful.
Casey.
Please go follow her on all platforms, and hopefully we'll see you at ASD.
Yes, excited.
All right, let me
Thank you guys for being here.